Hello and welcome. Yeah, that's me, a fine specimen of film photographer. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm Tommy, also known online as the one and only Portra pasta. And right now I'm in the middle of nowhere, lost in the Japanese countryside. If you're new to the channel, think of me as a mix of Indiana Jones and Marco Polo, with just a sprinkle of George Michael here and there. Oh, and did I mention that this guy's my best friend? Yeah, the daddy of film photography. Does he know we're friends? Well, not yet. But did Batman knew he'd meet Robin and become part of the most iconic duo in history? Exactly, you got my point. Anyway, I've talked too much, so sit down, relax and enjoy 30 minutes of road trip in the beautiful Japanese countryside. I am now driving in the beautiful Shimane prefecture. Shimane apparently is very popular for not being popular at all. This place is not very touristy among international tourism and foreigners. After landing at Izumo airport around 8 AM, I drove straight to the first stop of the day, Izumo Taisha Shrine, one of the oldest and most important Shinto shrines in Japan. I had two main weapons for this road trip, my trustworthy Leica MP always loaded with Kodak Gold and my Nikon F100, loaded with Kentmere 400 pushed one stop. So Izumo city, besides being one of the biggest cities in the Shimane prefecture, it's not that big. It feels a bit like the countryside, and it's something that I absolutely love. Now I'm in this park, this beautiful park that is taking me to the main shrine, and let's see what's this about. The shrine is mentioned in Japan's earliest chronicles from the 8th century, though legends say it was built much earlier. Izumo Taisha is especially known for the belief that every 10th month of the lunar calendar, all of Japan deities gather here for an annual meeting, leaving the rest of the country godless. Because of that, many people still come to pray here for love and good relationships. The shrine was quite busy, but not overcrowded like those in Tokyo. It was extremely hot and humid. Light raindrops were falling. I'm not a huge fan of temples, but being there in these moody conditions made the experience even more enjoyable. Since I'm becoming Japanese, I'm embracing the culture of this place, and yeah, sandals. There's no way back. After spending an hour at the shrine, I went to the Izumo Hinomisaki lighthouse, an observation deck with stunning views of the coastline. I was pretty much going with the flow at that point. I didn't have big plans for the day, I just knew the place where I'd spend the night, and that was it. What a beautiful location. There's like a path on the coastline that I'm gonna follow and see if I get a nice angle of the rugged landscape. And by the way, right now this one is my 30th prefecture that I visit in Japan. 30 of 47. So we're almost there. I mean, we're not there with the project, 30 in 3 years. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy thinking how much money I fucking burned in all these years. The project I just mentioned is the main motor of this channel. If you're familiar with these videos, you know I'm obsessed with the remoteness of the Japanese countryside. So I'm traveling solo around Japan taking photos of some of its remote areas. There's a charm in these places. It feels as if they were suspended in time and space. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sweating like a motherfucker. So I'm going west towards Yunotsu Onsen, a very beautiful onsen town by the ocean. And while I'm driving there, I hope I can find some interesting stuff along the road and take some photos. It's actually hard to find information about Shimane because everything is so remote that I don't have many resources online. Even ChatGPT struggled this time. ChatGPT. After over an hour of drive, I saw an interesting village on the side of the road. What caught my eye was the massive suspended highway built on top of it. An ugly concrete monster towering over a tiny old village. Around me there was no one, not even a sound. That was the perfect place for me to explore. The lighting conditions were still pretty bad, overcast sky and light rain, but I had to make it work. The village was more or less composed of 3 roads. There were clearly people still living there. Judging by its buildings, the place was very quiet, but not completely dead. This is the beautiful thing of the Japanese countryside. I am driving in the middle of nowhere, and I stop by and there's this semi-abandoned village, and it's absolutely stunning. You have classic architecture, gardens, it's in the middle of nowhere, and you start to see some decay, some abandonedness, you feel that people is leaving this place, and it's very sad and it's fascinating at the same time. I finally arrived at Yunotsu Onsen, the village where I'd spend the night. I am now in my small hotel room in Yunotsu. This beautiful, beautiful onsen town. It looks amazing. So what's next? I will go out, take some photos, shoot some videos around this town, and then I will take a nice bath, and I think I will call it a day. From tomorrow the weather should be better, should get better. Still cloudy, but at least it shouldn't be as disgusting as today's. Yunotsu Onsen is a small hot spring village on the coast of Shimane Prefecture, one of the oldest onsen towns in Japan, with a history stretching back over 1,000 years. The village developed as part of the town during the Edo period, when its silver from the nearby Iwami Ginzan mines was shipped to Osaka and beyond. Today, Yunotsu is part of the UNESCO World Heritage designation. This town is quite popular among domestic travelers, but definitely not as popular as other onsen towns across Japan. Coming here felt like stepping back into old Japan. It had that mix of nostalgia and Ghibli movie vibes. Even though I was there during a busy weekend, there were actually very few people around town. Since the light was still flat, I thought it was best to shoot black and white. I ventured into the small alleys and explored the cemetery as well. From time to time a person would walk by, but the only sound you'd hear was from the cicadas in the surrounding trees. I took a long walk, explored every angle of this place, and finally went to a hot spring, one of the oldest in Yunotsu. After nearly boiling alive like a lobster in a 48-degree water, I walked on top of the hot spring building to rest and enjoy the view of the surroundings. I'm at the 3rd floor of the onsen, and you can chill, have a cup of coffee, and rest a little bit. It was the end of my first day in Shimane. The journey had just started. I was on the road again, driving west. As usual, I knew my final destination, but I would just stop along the way to explore places that inspired me. The countryside in Shimane is absolutely stunning. Rice fields as far as the eye can see, and beautiful houses and barns with orange tiling. Those tile colors were absolutely gorgeous and created a great contrast with the vivid greens of the rice fields.
Yeah, I've been on the road for, I don't know, a couple of hours, and I took a few shots on the way, but nothing crazy, you know. During these trips, it goes by feeling. It's not a rational thing. I just see a place, and then there's some details that get my attention, and I'm like, okay, I need to stop. And I didn't feel that here. Let's continue driving and let's see what this place has to offer. I don't know what's going on, man. It's just not feeling it.
I decided to take a break and stop for lunch at a convenience store on the road. Next to the convenience store, there was a beautiful old coin laundry, and of course I had to shoot it. This was a very Nick Carver situation. Nostalgic coin laundry tones, so juicy. And I'm pretty happy with this photo. I think that Kodak Gold did its justice. Those vivid greens are just incredible. I didn't have to drive much to finally find an interesting village along the road. Two men fishing in the river caught my eye. I parked the car and started exploring. As I was walking around, I finally understood my mistake. That day as I was driving, I was looking for decay, abandoned places, the usual stuff that you see scattered across the Japanese countryside. But impressively, I couldn't find it in Shimane, at least in that area. So I was blind to what was around me, beautiful remote villages. In my trips, I'm documenting the sense of solitude and remoteness that permeates the Japanese countryside. This time, I was in the middle of nowhere, in one of the least popular prefectures in Japan, and yet there were very few signs of decay.
Oh, man, it's hot. It's hot. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, hello. I finally made it to the town of Tsuwano in the western edge of the Shimane prefecture. The beauty of this prefecture is that it's not that very popular among tourism, international and local. And that's actually fantastic. So, yeah, let's see what this place has to offer. The views are stunning. You have these fantastic hills surrounding the village.
Tsuwano is an historic castle town in western Shimane, often called Little Kyoto of Sennin, for its preserved samurai residences and traditional atmosphere. The town flourished in the Edo period. Tsuwano also has a rich cultural side. It became a center for Catholicism in the late 19th century, and the town is home of one of Japan's oldest Catholic churches. Tsuwano is one of the most popular touristic places in Shimane prefectures, and yet there were very few people around. After a stroll in the city center, I followed a trail up a hill toward Otometoge St. Mary's Chapel.
I'm in this trail full of mosquitoes to go to a church. Like, anyway, what the did they build this church? Because this is a family-friendly film photography channel, and this is gonna be the most family-friendly film photography moment of this film family photography.
I gotta be honest, this place felt spooky. I was alone in the forest, the heat and humidity were unbearable, and the mosquitoes were feasting on me. I don't have any footage of it, so you'll have to believe me, but the area was also full of snakes. Snakes, churches, crosses, too much symbolism. The only thing missing was a bear trying to eat my ass. Anyway, I quite like the shots that I took here. I think they're very well representative of the place. After shooting there for about half an hour, I decided to leave that haunted spot and get a tea. I needed a break.
美味しいですか？ああ、よかった。嬉しい。ありがとうございます。
This place is a lovely, lovely cafe here in Tsuwano, and the owner, her name is Miss Ricotta, a very nice lady, and they have local productions of tea, and they make incredible cheesecake, and people has been lovely so far. You know, Shimane people, they smile, they're so nice. It's amazing. Like a few weeks back, I was in Fukushima, and everyone was kind of like a to me. They were all horrible.
I continued to explore the village, and again, it felt like a Ghibli movie. Everything about Tsuwano was picturesque. The branches of tall willow trees gently blown by the wind, the railway crossing the river, the stone torii gates. This was incredible. The best part was that even though Tsuwano is popular in Shimane, it's not nearly as crowded as the least visited place in Tokyo. There weren't many tourists. The town felt alive, but not spoiled by tourism. The Taikodani Inori Shrine rises on the hillside above the town. A path of countless torii gates winds up its way on the slope, wrapping up the mountain in color. Founded in the 18th century to protect the castle and the town, the shrine is dedicated to Inari, the deity of prosperity and good fortune. From the top, the valley unfolds below, the samurai district, the rivers, and the quiet streets of Tsuwano. It was a majestic view. I'm very happy with the shots I took here. The bright red of the torii gates in contrast with the greens of the vegetation was the perfect match. When I descended the hill, I saw a few people gathering at the center of the bridge, facing the railway tracks. I was so lucky because a few moments later, an old badass steam locomotive passed, and I managed to get a couple of very sick shots.
honestly, I was wrong about Tsuwano. I thought it was very touristic, and yeah, there's some tourism, but almost no one around. I mean, I think I've seen 20 people in total visiting this area. And this village is beautiful. There's a church in the middle of nowhere, and it's the most haunted place that I've ever been in Japan so far. It was so cool.
My time in Tsuwano was over, so I drove to Matsuda, a coastal city. I was staying in a very boring business hotel on the road, but it was fine. I was exhausted from the day, and I just needed a shower and a sleep. The next morning I woke up quite late, around 8 a.m. I was still tired from the day before. I had a quick coffee and hit the road. I still had 2 days ahead of me. As I was driving, I saw some road signs indicating a gorge, and of course curiosity won, so I went to explore. I stopped the car in a parking lot in front of an abandoned building and started descending towards the bottom of the gorge. It was extremely hot, with a few sporadic clouds in the blue sky. The Dangyo Gorge is a hidden natural wonder in the mountains of Shimane. Over thousands of years, the Nigori River carved dramatic cliffs and oddly shaped rock formations. The name Dangyo means the gorge where fish cannot pass, a reference to the sheer rock walls and powerful currents that make the river here impossible for fish to swim upstream. As I walked along the trails, I found pools, waterfalls, and sheer cliffs rising above the water. I followed the trail to the bottom of the gorge, where I found a shrine hidden in the woods. Nearby there was an old, abandoned structure. Of course I had to go in and see for myself what it was. It was the end of my exploration, but I couldn't leave without jumping into the fresh waters of the river. That was much needed. It was nearly 40 degrees that day.
I am now slowly making my way back to the airport. I won't leave until tomorrow, so I still have plenty of time, but I will slowly drive back.
Not too long after, I arrived in the old mining town of Iwami, Ginzan, once the largest silver mine in Japan. Discovered in the 16th century, apparently this silver mine produced so much silver that at one point it supplied a third of the world's market. While the town is well preserved and gives a clear idea of what it looked like centuries ago, I'll admit it, this place felt like an open-air museum. I had a nice walk around the center and took some photos that I'm happy with, but that wasn't what I was looking for. I'm still in search of authenticity, of real villages scattered across the countryside that still have some life, or that time has forgotten. I left the silver mine town and drove along the coastline. From time to time, I stopped to take a photo or two. I was just there to enjoy the road, the beautiful clouds, and the warm summer light. It was a great day to be on the road. I reached Izumo, the city where I first arrived, and then drove along the shores of Lake Shinji towards my destination for the day, the town of Matsue.
So I made it to Matsue, the final stop of this trip. And I will explore it and watch the sunset. Right in front of me, there's a beautiful lake. Apparently from a place nearby I can watch the sunset.
Matsue is the castle town of Shimane. The city is built along Lake Shinji and a network of canals, earning it the name the City of Water. I walked through the old town, just a handful of roads, still well preserved. As I ventured in, I noticed the place was completely deserted, no one around me. It was a long weekend in Japan because of a national holiday, so the main spots were flocking with tourists, but in the residential areas you couldn't hear a fly. The more I explored, the more I realized this was actually the first place that gave me the feeling of abandon and decay I'd been looking for a couple of days ago. And of all places in Shimane, I found it here, in one of its busiest centers, not in the remote countryside. When you ask Japanese people about Shimane, almost all of them will tell you they've never been. Even my Japanese language teacher, when I told her I'd be coming here, asked me, "What's in Shimane?" And I understand there's nothing outstanding here. It's just another place. But I think that what makes it special is exactly the lack of standout landmarks. This prefecture isn't about one touristic spot. It's beautiful for its remote nature, its vast, lush green rice fields in summer, its blue skies, and its remote, well-kept villages. I walked to the Shimane Art Museum, a newer structure facing Lake Shinji and looking west. It was the absolute best spot to see the sunset. Watching the sunset from Matsue is one of the highlights here. The views were stunning. A few clouds partially covered the sun, making the scene even more dramatic. I sat down and watched the sunset in silence, enjoying the last minutes of that long, beautiful day. The sun finally set. I stood there, looking at the horizon. Another day was over. It was my final day in Shimane Prefecture. I wanted to take it easy before my flight, so I drove 30 minutes north onto the Shimane Peninsula. Mihonoseki lies at the eastern tip of the peninsula, where the Sea of Japan and Miho Bay meet. For centuries, it was a bustling port town. As I stepped out of the car, I immediately felt the slow-paced coastal town vibes. Places like these are everywhere in Japan, and it's always a joy to explore them. In summer, they look exceptionally beautiful. I ventured into the village. The old streets near the harbor were lined with traditional houses. I was alone, walking on a cobblestone street, imagining how the place was once walked every day by fishermen and merchants. I kept exploring the rest of the peninsula, driving, listening to music, and enjoying the day. I was quite exhausted from the trip, but my eyes were filled with beauty. That was the end of the trip. 4 remarkable days in a place that isn't famous for any particular reason, and maybe that's why it's so special. There's nothing that screams for attention. Every detail is part of a bigger picture, a beautiful, remote prefecture waiting there for you to discover it.